We were talking, it was funny, we weren't even going to start the podcast, but it was so easy through Anchor. It's free. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or on your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more places. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Welcome to the Stoned Age Living Podcast. This is your boy Life Locks. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Spotify at Stoned Age Living, minus the G. We appreciate you for coming through. Alright, let's kick things off with our strain of the day, Sunset Sherbet. An indica-leaning hybrid with intoxicatingly potent effects. Bred by Mr. Sherbinsky, Sherbet inherits the genetic lineage of its Girl Scout cookies parent, whose ancestors include the famed OG Kush, Cherry Pie, and Durban Poison. Crossed with pink panties, Sherbet exhibits powerful full-body effects elevated by a jolt of cerebral energy. A complex aroma colors Sherbet with notes of skunky citrus, sweet berry, and that candy-like smell redolent of its Girl Scout cookies parent. Stress, tension, and sour moods melt away with the carefree mindset and physical relaxation that comes with this rich hybrid. Alright, jumping into our first cannabis story today. New lawsuit aims to force DEA to reschedule marijuana. In recent years, lawsuits directed against the federal government's prohibition of cannabis have tried and repeatedly failed to knock down marijuana's Schedule I status. A recently filed lawsuit, however, suggests the legal wall against cannabis legalization should not even exist due to a mistake made more than 25 years ago. According to a press release from Scottsdale Research Institute, the DEA has now for decades applied the wrong legal standard in determining whether a drug has current accepted medical use under the Controlled Substance Act, the law that since 1970 has classified cannabis as a Schedule I drug, defined as having no currently accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. That classification, where marijuana is in Schedule I because of the absence of clinical trials, but no robust clinical trials can be conducted because it is in Schedule I. According to the court petition, the DEA uses a 5-part test that originated in 1992 when the agency considers whether a drug or other substance can be considered for accepted use in medical treatment in the United States. That test looks at whether a drug's chemistry is known and reproducible, whether there are adequate safety studies, whether there are adequate and well-controlled studies proving efficacy, whether the drug is not accepted by qualified experts, whether the scientific evidence is not widely available. The new lawsuit claims the DEA-created test has no basis and rests on flawed and outdated case law. Alright, my first talk here, it's definitely flawed and outdated case law that this test is based on, and most of these things actually contradict themselves, seeing that we have medical experts that have found new cannabinoids related to or directly in cannabis this year. THCP, CBDP, we talked about in an earlier episode, along with doctors also prescribing medical cannabis or medical marijuana to people daily. And as we see the drug become legal in more and more places, states, countries, things like that, we see the systems and the people that are behind the actual cannabis movement putting more and more pressure on the DEA to definitely relieve or remove cannabis from its Schedule I status, because this is a huge hurdle if this lawsuit can actually be passed or won by, which company is it that they said was doing the lawsuit? The Scottsdale Research Institute. If they can actually win this lawsuit based on a mistake made more than 25 years ago, they could actually possibly cancel the Controlled Substance Act to a certain extent, or make them possibly have to rewrite the law itself. So definitely interesting news and something to keep your eyes on. Alright, we're going to leave you guys with our weed fact number 11. According to the World Health Organization, over half of all narcotic seizures worldwide are cannabis. This has been another episode of the Stoned Age Living Podcast. Listen to hear Life Locks cover the biggest cannabis headlines daily. Follow us at Stoned Age Living on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere else that you could possibly type it in. Tune in for Cannabis News Daily. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for checking in.